is it Michael Jeffrey Jordan or LeBron King James, the GOAT of the NBA? You got to answer it.
No, I'm going to answer it. To me, I'm going to be very honest with you, Key. I think there's Michael, and I think there's everybody else.
What's up? Welcome to my show. It's Keyshawn Johnson, All Facts, No Breaks. Joining us today on the show is three-time Sixth Man of the Year, Jamal Crawford. Let's bring him in now. What's up, Jamal?
Man, with you, Key, I'm honored to be on, bro. Been a fan for a long. Just give me the damn ball. I've been a fan for.
Nah, you ain't no fan. Also, my son Keyshawn Jr. is gonna join the show with us as well.
How you doing, Jamal? I'm a big fan of you, man. The Clippers, I used to go to the games when I couldn't go to the Lakers games, but I used to always be a fan of you, man. So it's great to have you.
Bro. Nice to meet you as well, for sure.
So, Jamal, you grew up in Seattle, played basketball at Rainer High School up in Seattle, but your first stop in basketball, I believe, was at Dorsey High School here in Southern California, the same my alma mater that I went to school at. But this basketball program up in Seattle produced the likes of Nate Robinson, Doug Christie, DeJounte Murray, and a whole bunch of other NBA players. What inspired you to play basketball instead of maybe trying football like Nate Robinson did?
See, I did play football, Key. I played when I was 8 years old. And, getting hit, that wasn't the thing for me, bro. I had great hands. I could catch. I had great hands. So I played football, baseball, basketball all at the same time. And I stuck with baseball a little bit longer. I played football that 1 year, but I was out there looking bad too. I didn't look like no football player. My shoes was up, my cleats was all bad, my face mask wasn't right. But basketball just stuck with me. It just felt natural for me. I remember when I was 8 years old, the coach was like, "Man, all right, 2-line layups," and everybody, kids are barely getting it up there. I was going behind my back doing jellies then, like at 8, so it just felt natural for me, and I just stuck with it.
Yeah, I try to tell Paul. I be telling Paul Pierce this all the time. He talk about he can play football. I said, Paul, you don't want that. It's not the NBA. You don't want you guys wear helmets and shoulder pads. I said, it doesn't matter, Paul. That's not something Austin Rivers, he think he all pretty and light skinned, man. That dude will get so many scratches on that face. That's not what you want.
That's not what you want. That's football. It's a whole different mentality. We were playing in the lockout. And I didn't know Cam Chancellor at the time.
Yeah.
And he didn't really know me. And we matched up at LA Fitness. I'm like, man, who is this dude guard me like this? He gonna really make me go in my NBA bag. And he's right here with me step for step. And he played defense just like he did on the football field. I said, no, this ain't it. This ain't it at all. I get it.
And Cam Chancellor, as Croft, you see how big he was. Dude, I went to do a sit-down interview with them with the Legion of Boom. And when he walked in the room, I was like, well, what the hell position this dude play? Look crazy.
Yeah. And used to be quarterback, which is crazy.
Exactly. Yeah. So in the 90s, you was up in Seattle. You had an opportunity to hang out around some Supersonics and Gary Payton and Sean Kemp. What did you learn from them, and how was it being around some pros at that time in your career?
And they coming fresh off the finals. So this like the glove in the rain, man. Like they're big in Seattle, but they're big worldwide. This wasn't just like no pros. These are dudes everybody knows. So Gary had heard about me. Our first interaction was crazy. We at the mall, big mall out here. And my best friend at the time, Dave Hudson's like a brother to me. It's Gary's nephew. And my other friend, Will Conroy, is there. And we're at the mall. And GP used to roll just like he did on the Jamie Foxx show. He had 6, 7, 8 people with him at one time. So we see, and I didn't know that his nephew had been telling him he couldn't guard me. I'm in high school. That's our first interaction. And GP go down the line. I played you at my camp. You terrible. And he pointed to me saying, you come see me because I've been hearing about all these damn moves. You're doing it. You're doing this. You're doing that. We're going to play one-on-one. I ain't said hello yet. We ain't played one-on-one. If you beat me, I give you $1 million. But if I beat you, you got to walk around your neighborhood naked. I'm riding around in one of my trucks. Let's ride. And everybody left. Damn, I still ain't said hello yet. That's our first interaction. But from that, he became like a big brother. He used to come to my games. And he just became a mentor, and I learned how to deal with things on the court, off the court. I learned the mentality it takes to be a pro, the work it takes to be a pro. Because you in high school, you think you're working, It's just a different level of pro work and how pros look and how they carry themselves. So him, Sean, Doug Christie, I couldn't have been where I was. I couldn't have made it. I couldn't have the belief to make it without those guys being in my corner.
But did you get the million, or did you walk around naked? That's
We
what I
didn't play
want to know.
one-on-one. We didn't play one-on-one. But the closest we came to it was when I went through the draft process 2 years later. He let me come stay with him, and he worked me out, put me through drills, and that was it. That was the only time we were on the court together in that way.
So in other words, he was pump faking. No, he wasn't. GP was.
He was trolling.
He was.
Flexing.
Yeah,
he
he
was
wasn't, because he wasn't gonna part with that $1 million. If you would have beat him,
no.
no.
And I wasn't gonna. It wasn't gonna happen.
In the 90s too, that's a lot of money in the 90s. What? That's a lot.
He's fresh off of signing like almost $90 million at the time, so he was feeling it.
Oh wow!
You up in Seattle without an NBA team. When they gonna get the Supersonics back?
I think honestly, Key, and I've been saying this since they left. I'm like, in 5 years. I really believe this is the time, though. I think there's been talk about Vegas. And think about this. All the pros we've had come through Seattle since they left, since 2008, right? And I think that shows the mentorship and how we're in the community to bring up the next one. There's a seventh grader right now who texts Paulo Banchero or texts DeJounte Murray, like, can I get in the gym? Can you break down this film with me? And to me, that's the separator of why there's been so many pros. So when we get the team back, there'll be even more pros because they'll have that inspiration right there in front of them.
So you went to the University of Michigan, the Wolverines. We're going to have to place a bet because SC played Michigan in the Horseshoe. No, the Horseshoe is Ohio State, in the Big House.
In the Big House.
They played. Okay. They play, I want to say, the second or third
week
game.
2.
Yeah, week 2, USC played Michigan, so we're going to have to put something on that. I mean,
that's what you want to do.
So you went to Michigan. You went to Michigan the same time Tom Brady, and this is one of those goofy producer questions. Like, which one of you were more popular on the campus, Tom Brady or you? I mean, like, obviously you were, because nobody knew the hell Tom was.
They didn't know who he was at the time. It was Drew Henson at the time that was the guy. And basketball and football had training table, which is dinner together every single day. So Dave Terrell's one of my best friends, Larry Foote, A-Train, Anthony Thomas, they were all on the same team. And Charles Woodson just left a year or two before to go to the league. So no flex, I think I was more popular. I had my own student section next to the team section. It was called,
that's fire.
Yeah, they were all wearing headbands. Matter of fact, Wood came back wearing a headband because that was my thing at the time. So yeah, I think I was more popular then. He's way more popular ever since then. He got it since then.
Yeah, where David Terrell at these days, man?
Man, he was in Virginia. He's back in Virginia helping out with kids and AAU programs, I believe. I ain't talked to him in a minute, but at the time it was dope because we were both in Michigan. We were tight. I go to Chicago Bulls the year before. He's up for the Biletnikoff Award. He comes to Chicago as the Bears pick, 8th pick the very next year. So we was always locked in.
Mm-hmm. So my dad named a bunch of guys from Seattle that were just great basketball players. But my question is, who do you think is the best one out of everyone to come out of the Seattle area?
That's so tough, Junior. I'm gonna say Doug Christie, only from the standpoint, not only, but from the main standpoint is what he did for me. And I think his fingerprints are on everybody's DNA from the standpoint that if he doesn't go to the league, we don't even have the vision of that. I think it was a big thing just to go Division I at that time. Like that was going to the league. It wasn't really realistic. So the fact he went through and laid the blueprint and we all followed that, I'm gonna always pay homage and say he's the best.
Yeah, Doug.
What do you think about? Go ahead.
I was gonna say, Doug Christie. I remember he was at Pepperdine, Jamal, and I was at SC. I was coming out, but he had just gotten drafted. He bought an 850 BMW, and we was at a spot in Marina Del Rey, and they was all in their 850s. It was like Harold Miner. It was Doug Christie. They was all rolling, and I was a junior. I was like, I can't wait.
Watching this.
I can't wait.
This. You already know what time it is.
I was going to ask how you felt about Brandon Roy.
I was just with him 2 days ago. And obviously, if he doesn't have the injuries, then that's a whole different conversation. But I like to say we made each other better because he's like a little brother and is like a little brother to me. But it was just a competitive fabric. It was almost like being in a group, right? And like, let's say I'm the lead singer at the time. But I know this young singer's coming up. I know he's going to be good. I know it. And I know he's going to be really good. So he helped keep me sharp. I think I showed him some things along the way. We used to have battles, bro, at like 12 at night because we had keys to the gym at the time. Mm-hmm. We're playing 1-2. We were always on opposite teams. And just seeing how good he was and seeing how he had no weaknesses and no flaws in his game. He was just so polished for such a young player. The sky was the limit for him. I think it was like rookie of the year, all-star, all-star, all-star. Then he got hurt. So there's no telling what he could have been. One of the best ever. B. Roy is one of the coldest for sure.
Ben Carroll, does he fall in that line? Will he, if he on his trajectory, will he? I mean, I know Doug Christie laid the foundation down, right? But Paolo, will he fall if he finishes the deal? Because it seemed like he's on the right trajectory.
Let me tell you a story about him, Key. So I used to go pick up Paolo every day after school when he was 14, 15 years old. I think about 14. And just work out and work out and work out. And you had to kick him out the gym. And the thing that's different about him is the foundation he has from his parents.
Yeah.
You know, his mom was really good. So he used to practice with the ladies all the time. So the fundamentals was always there. Then he expanded off of that. Then he grows to 6'10". And he played football too, so he has that toughness, right? Mm-hmm. And when you give him the information, he actually goes and applies it. So the sky is like the limit for him. And he's always working, always questioning, and he's always humble. Like he's always trying to get better. So yes, to answer your question, if he has a full go at it, he should be the best to ever come through here.
Yeah, he's like that for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So in 2000, you was LeBron before LeBron for about 2 seconds. You got drafted by the Cleveland Cavs with the 8th pick, and then you was moved immediately to the Chicago Bulls alongside MJ after he decided to come back. What was it like being around Michael and on the actual court and playing as a young pup?
So it's crazy because my dad went to the University of Oregon. He played there, and Ahmad Rashad and him were tight. You know, Ahmad and MJ are like this. And so my dad's telling me when I'm going through the draft process, hey, man, MJ like your game. I'm like, what? Dad, this ain't social media. You don't know Michael Jordan. I'm not even thinking the Ahmad Rashad connection. He's like, nah, MJ likes your game. I'm telling you. So fast forward, I get drafted by the Bulls, and then Tim Grover, the great Tim Grover, calls and says, hey, MJ said you can meet him. So I'll never forget, I go down there at about 6:37 in the morning, and it's just us three in the gym, Grover, myself, and MJ. MJ's 40 years old, prepping for a comeback to the Wizards. And he's working out. I'm quiet. I'm like, this is Michael Jordan. And I'm watching how hard he's working. In the gym by himself doing defensive slides. And he's like, yeah, this summer, I like your game. You can work out with him. I'm like, this is crazy. Like, this is the one right here, right? Like saying this, he likes my game. He's taking notice of me. Fast forward that following summer, that's when I first meet a young LeBron, since you brought him up. He was actually at the gym as well. At the gym, working out, playing, coming up from Ohio, him and Mav at the time. And like being around Jordan, I just saw greatness. He would ride to the gym, have an all yellow Jordan outfit on, and have a yellow Lamborghini to match with some yellow Jordans that still ain't never came out. Like he was just, his whole mentality was different. And I just watched
Jordan.
Oh, Jordan just separated himself from everybody. Like, there's pennies in the gym. Stephon Marbury, I think, came up. Antoine Walker, Mike Finley, Paul Pierce. Everybody is there. And they're all stars. He just separated himself from everybody, but they're looking at him like that's the dude. And he's 39, 40 years old, still. I remember one time I threw the ball full court, baseball pass. I'm like, damn, I threw that too far. He jumped up with one hand, didn't even touch it with his left hand. One dribble and dunked it at 39. I'm like, this dude was a freak at 30 years old. He's a freak athlete. So it was just unbelievable to be around him and how much winning mattered to him. Even in the summer, he didn't lose. He did not. He was going to refuse to lose even at that age.
Now that's the way you have to be if you're going to be considered the GOAT, right? It's a certain mentality that carries with it. You know, it's so crazy because I had the opportunity to be around Mike for a long extended period of time. So I'm drafted in 96. So now all of a sudden I'm introduced to Michael Jordan through Fresh West, which Uncle West, you know who that is, right? Obviously. So I'm introduced, and every time MJ and them come to New York or he come to LA, he hit me up. Like, you know, hey, I'm in LA, let's hang out. Here's the number, here's where I'm staying. I'm under this name, But it was crazy though, because as a kid,
I'm under this name. What do you mean?
Because he never was.
Oh, yeah, that's how it is. That's how it was.
You know how we check in the hotels, you got to get under alias, son. I don't need people calling my room. Like,
right.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, so anyway, as a kid, you know, growing up in high school and even in college to a degree, I wore a knee sleeve and nothing was wrong with my knee. Just because MJ had it on and I rolled it down just because of that. So it was, you know, seeing and being around him, he moved a room differently. I tell people all the time, I say it's only a handful of dudes when they walk in the room, the fucking room stop.
That aura.
It's just period. It's only a handful of dudes.
He's the star that makes stars starstruck. You know what I mean? Like, he's the one when I don't care who's in the room. When he walks in, I just watched Dame Lillard tell a story about NBA 75 and how nobody knew he was coming, right? And they're all there to take the picture. And Dame has never seen him in person. And Dame says when he walks in, the biggest stars in the room felt small. They all look like, damn, there's a difference. You know it's a ain't nobody said it. You just know it's a totally different thing.
Man, I'm telling you, back in the day, we was in Atlanta. And we was out in Atlanta. And I wasn't married to your mama, Keyshawn, so don't worry.
Just tell the story, man.
I had a whole table. Man, I must have turned left and right. Jamal, I look. What happened to my table? They was over there. They followed the cigar smoke.
I'm dead.
But anyway, so
no, but I feel like it's all age groups though, because I went to the Michael Jordan camp from since I was 8 to 11, and the aura was the same with kids. Like, it was just everyone was just waiting for Michael Jordan to show up. Like, when is he gonna come? When is he gonna come? And then when he finally came, it was just crazy. But what I was gonna ask you, Jamal, is you played the younger version of him in the 23 versus 39 Gatorade commercial, right? How'd you get that role?
He actually called me, which was crazy. Like, yo, I need you this commercial. And this was crazy, Key, is the fact I didn't know that this was going to be an iconic commercial at the time. I'm just like, Gatorade's giving me a check for this? I'm getting $5,000 for this? Like, I'm about to be in a commercial with my hero. And we shot it at the United Center. And it's crazy because when I get to the United Center, it looks totally different from when I played there. You know, I played for the Bulls. And I have my shoes laid out. I have the uniform I'm wearing. I have everything there. And we go on the court. I'm like, okay, so what's the script? What am I saying? He's like, just play. I'm like, what? He's like, just play. So we're really just talking trash with no lines. Like, there's no lines. We're just talking like we would. So I'm like, am I trying to mimic how you play? Or am I trying to play like me? He's like, no, just play. I'm like, all right. So I start reaching. You reach, I teach. You know, we just go into it's now the camera's just rolling. We just playing one-on-one.
That's sick, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy because now I didn't know that would be one of the greatest commercials of all time because I'm like, man, I dreamed about meeting this dude. I could tell you everything about Jordan when I was a kid. I never thought I would be in a commercial with him. And I'm playing the younger version of him, and he picked me to be the younger version. Like, that's beyond anything. And the fact that he's been an unbelievable mentor, he introduced me to Jay-Z. Him and Fresh West introduced me to Jay-Z. I got so tight with Michael Jordan, I was like, man, I want to meet Jay-Z. He's like, you want to meet him? Oh, shook his head, yeah. And that was it. That nod was everything. So he's been unbelievable. In that commercial, I still can't believe it. But I can look at him like, man, I can see that part. I was there right there. Like with his face, obviously. But yeah, it was dope. Dope.
And Jamal, you played a long time in the NBA, obviously, with the Knicks, the Clippers, the Bulls, the Hawks, the Suns. Like between you and Vince Carter, y'all probably got all 31 teams locked down with uniforms.
For real.
But
right.
Out of all the teammates that you played with, who did you enjoy playing with the most? Like, who's your favorite teammate to just on and off the court?
Man, I had some real life legends. Like, I'm gonna say this: I played with Scottie Pippen his last year. You know, like in Chicago, I grew up watching the Bulls, like I talked about. But so I got so much game from them. I played with a Grant Hill. I played with Chris Paul and Blake Griffin in their prime. And playing with those dudes especially was really special because at that time, I know you're a Laker guy. I know it. But we was dogging the Lakers. And I was with the Clippers in that run. And we felt like we had a chance to win a championship. So playing with those two, especially in Lob City, I felt like was probably like the peak of everything. It was the peak of how we were playing. Obviously being in LA, obviously we weren't the Lakers, but we were trying to make our own claim. So I'm gonna say those two right there because I was at a different point in my career as well. So I think being in the Clippers was like a sweet spot for all of us. I wish we could have did it again.
You know, they still think they're gonna win a championship too.
Hey, and you Laker fans still think they not before y'all. Ain't that crazy?
They not. Man, they ain't gonna never win.
Hold on. Key, can I ask you something? Can I ask you a couple questions? Because we really got me to the Lakers thing. First off, you talk about the 96 draft. What was that commercial like with you and Kobe? Because I got a Kobe shirt on right now. I love Kobe. What was that like?
You know, it was interesting because I was dealing with an 18-year-old kid. So I grew up, you know where I grew up at. I grew up in South Central Los Angeles. So I'm dealing with a dude that speak fluent Italian, English, and then some Spanish. He got like 9 different languages. So I'm dealing with a kid. Now I don't know anything about Lower Merion out of Philadelphia. I think it's a prep. I think it's just like a prep school. I'm like, so I'm a college guy that's graduate, and I'm like, but he young, and this is the first time I'm like, damn, he in high school, a little skinny peanut neck, the whole deal. And so we just vibed, and we was cool, and we shot the commercial. Obviously, Stu Scott was in the commercial, a legendary broadcaster in his own right? So he's telling us how to do the commercial, and we just followed along. When I really got closer with Kobe, it was interesting because Kobe came to New York to play. And he was young, and he was playing, and I was in New York playing for the Jets. So I get a call from Kobe. He in town, and he wanted to go out. They were in town back then. You know how y'all used to be on the road in that city for 3 days. So he like, man, I'm sitting in the hotel room. I'm bored. I'm like, I'm getting ready to go to the China Club. You want to roll with me? He's like, I think I'll call you and let you know. So he called me. He came down to the club, though. He came down to the club, but he had his student ID, and I couldn't, his high school ID. So I couldn't work to get him in because I was a rookie myself. So it wouldn't happen. But then out of everything that my interactions with him, we were flying to Portland because we both, Sonny Vaccaro signed us both with Adidas at the time. So we flying up to Portland. We got our signature shoes, the whole deal. And when you do stuff for corporations, they always want you to sign something. So we had like a stack of, I felt like it was like a bunch, it was like some football, basketballs, maybe a couple of jerseys and some other stuff. And I'm on the back of the plane. I'm on the plane, and Kobe's done. I'm taking my time signing my stuff, but I'm putting Keyshawn Johnson, the number.
You write your whole thing out.
I'm writing the whole joint, right? And so when he was done, I was like, damn, how you get finished so damn fast? He was like, man, I just signed my name. And I'm like, what you do? So I looked at it. It said Kobe 8. He looked at mine. He said, man, why don't you just sign your name Keyshawn? There's only one Keyshawn, just like there's only one Kobe. And ever since then, Jamal, it's just been Keyshawn, my number. That's it. It wasn't no Keyshawn Johnson because that's long. That's a really long name. And so he just go Kobe 8. Bam. It was done like that. That's how I wind up signing my name is just Keyshawn from here on out. Or from then to where we are. I know, it's pretty wild. Yeah, no, it's pretty wild. And I didn't think early on, I didn't know. I just didn't know. I didn't know it was going to be Kobe. I was just like, oh,
Did you know he was going to be what he ended up becoming?
Man, he had, what's so funny? When I dealt with him in his interactions, he had all that same confidence and belief at 18, 19, 20 years old. He had the same, but he hadn't arrived in terms of pro basketball. So you was like, what do I know? I don't know. It took a minute. And then once it turned, then the rest was history. But he knew the whole time. He knew the whole time.
Is he your favorite Laker? That's all I'm going to ask. Who is your favorite Laker?
Magic.
Magic? Okay.
My interactions, I probably would say Magic because I learned so much more from Magic on and off the court from a business standpoint, just everything. Like it's just but Kobe, right? I mean, it's the same. I can't split them, right? I can't split Kobe and Magic and Worthy and Coop. Like I know Byron Scott. Like I've been knowing Byron Scott since I was a kid. So all of them in Showtime is like my guys, It's just, it's weird. It's so weird. But, so you was named NBA Sixth Man of the Year 3 times, tied with Lou Williams along the way. If you had a 6-man Mount Rushmore, who would go on that 6-man Mount Rushmore besides yourself?
See, I don't even put myself there because that gives me a spot. I always take myself off the list. So
That's fair.
Yeah, I'm going to say Lou, Manu, Kevin McHale.
But is McHale really a 6-man? Because he started.
He got two awards. He got 2 of them. That's the only thing. He started a lot.
But he started a lot.
Okay, well, if we taking out the ones who started a lot too, okay, I'm going to say Lou, Manu. I'm going to go Lamar Odom. I'm going to throw one of your Lakers in there.
I like that.
I'm going to throw Lamar in there, show him some love, and then I'm going to go with someone nobody talks about as a sixth man who was cold for that stint, Ben Gordon. I'm going to say Ben Gordon did that.
Ben Gordon, okay.
Yeah, that messed Key up right there. He wasn't thinking I was going Ben Gordon on that one.
What about Ortiz? But he started a lot too, though, huh?
He started a lot too. That's why I gave you one, Lakers. See, look at you trying to politic for another. Like I gave you one. I said Lamar.
No, Lamar but Lowe started too though in Miami. It's just clips.
Yeah. Okay, so Lou, Manu. They'll put myself back in there, man. Us three, and then Lil Key. Who you got? Who's one we got? Who we missing?
Well, I was gonna say James Harden, but you guys said no. Like
he started a lot.
Starting,
yeah. You can't go back to man. Come on, Keyshawn, boy, you can't go back to OKC.
So I'm gonna say Gordon. Then he didn't start a lot,
okay.
And he got.
Well, my question was, how come you couldn't be? And I mean this in the most respectful way. How come you couldn't be like a fifth man? Like, was it a talent gap or like the opportunity standpoint? Like, what do you think?
Great question. No, that's a great question. What happened was, at that time in the league, like it wasn't positionless basketball. It was none of that. You were your position, and not that Winnie was more prevalent, but they put you in a box if you lost. It was like, oh, he's a good scorer, but on bad teams, right? So I started averaging. I learned to get 20 points a game, 19 and a half. I almost averaged like accumulatively through 20 for 3 straight years. But I was my 10th year in the league. And so I always have won. When I was a kid in high school, when I played college, like I've always won. So I was never comfortable with being a dude that scored a lot that didn't win. So I'm like, you know what? I don't care if I got to come off the bench. I don't care what it is. I need to change the narrative of I'm a loser because that's not who I am. And I was so confident in my skills. I'm like, I could still go do what I do just off the bench. I love new challenges. And as fate would have it, I got traded to Atlanta at the time. And they had just went to the playoffs and they had their starting 5 in place. So it's almost like a perfect transition. And when I went, it was a little weird at first. But then I was like, you know what? Going into the season, I want to, if we're playing hoops in the summer, I will wait 2 or 3 games and then put myself in, just to put myself in that mindset that I wasn't going to be starting when the action started. But I had to trick myself and say, you know what? Now, the show ain't started till I got in. Now Superman's coming to save the show, and I still averaged 18, 19, and it took on a life of its own because I didn't know kids later on be like, man, it's all right to come off the bench. We can still go do our thing. And that's what's cool about having that kind of legacy.
You know, no, yeah, you're the first like sixth man that I was like, oh yeah, he's a baller and he's coming off the bench. Like that was like the first one. But go ahead, Dad, my bad.
No, I was gonna say, Jamal, you had a nice little breakout broadcasting career so far in the playoffs alongside Kevin Harlan and Reggie Miller. What was that like for you?
It's dope because in like there's some of the voices of the game, whether it be on 2K, whether the big playoff moments, you always hear those guys. And my trajectory has grown so fast. And we both got Jim Ornstein, by the way. That's the guy right there, right? But
Orny sucker ass called me the other day.
He called you? Yeah, so for me, I signed off to be, I didn't know I'd be doing this for real. And then I signed off to be an analyst, right? And I got on TNT, got a chair on TNT Tuesday, which is dope, with Lefko, Candace, and Shaq. Then that grew from that to me doing writing for NBA.com, having a mailbag. And that grew to doing a voiceover for the finals, through the finals with the NBA. Now I'm doing sideline reporting. Now I'm hosting. And it's all those things happen in a 2-year span. But this was like the cream of the crop, to be with the A team only after calling 3 games in my life, right? And they were so welcoming and so gracious. And for people to take notice, because I'm up there, like Red said, go Bear, start walking. I said, yeah, he's sea walking, Red's. Like I start bringing that to the table with it. Red's is up there using Nas references. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm trying to watch the game and teach the game, but I want it to be like we're sitting next to each other just watching the game. And I think that's what's been a different element. But Kevin Harlan and Reggie are legends, and they've been so gracious. And to TNT for trusting I would, come through in that situation.
So the finals start on Thursday night up in Boston. The Mavs, obviously, and Luka versus Brown and Tatum, or Tatum and Brown, depending on who you asking. On Thursday, who needs to win the championship more? Is it Luka for the first time getting there, or Tatum for the second time getting there?
Or is it Kyrie as well to show he can win?
My guy, Kyrie.
And then going through.
Or Kyrie. But even if they won, they're going to give it to Luka.
No, he going to get it. But I think for Kyrie's legacy, how people try to leave him on the side of the road and how people were talking about him, up until this point, it wasn't all good. So I think legacies will be rewritten with whoever wins. If it's Tatum, we're going to look at Tatum and all the stuff he's accomplished already, and it'll put a bow on everything to be it. And, he loves Kobe to win a championship this young. If it's Luka, we're going to look at all the stuff he's done. I didn't know he has more All-NBAs than, like, some of the greats already. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that if he wins a championship, we're going to take notice of that. And this Dallas team is so locked in. I'm not sure they're the favorites, but it wouldn't shock me to see them win.
Now that Porzingis might be back on the court, or is supposed to be back on the court Thursday night, does this tilt everything toward Dallas? I mean, toward Boston?
Yeah, it should, because Porzingis think about it. He was one of the initial unicorns. He was one of the guys we were saying was a unicorn first. So absolutely, if he's healthy, it'll tip the scale towards them. But that frees Dallas. And I think this is what people aren't talking about. I think if Jason Kidd somehow can put himself in the game, and what I mean by that is he's such a good coach. He's not getting enough credit for what he's doing on this run. If he can somehow implement and balance the talent gap that Boston may have, putting himself interjecting with his coaching expertise as well, they got a shot.
Now, when you look at the WNBA, that is, and all of the noise surrounded around Caitlin Clark and Kennedy Carter, which I'm still trying to figure out how you got Kennedy out of Chinity, but okay, we can screw up some names. What did you make of, the little tit for tat back and forth, the little shove to the ground? What did you make of that?
I think any great's going to go through that early. If I'm being honest, you went through it. Like, when you're a rookie and somebody sees you coming up, they're trying to stop that. Just like we talked about with the B-Roy situation. Like, I saw he was coming up. Like, it's not a personal thing, but it's like a me thing. I'm going to show you, you're getting all the light right now, and it's great for the league, but I'm going to show you it's not going to be easy. You're going to have to come earn it and come take it. Jordan went through it. LeBron went through it. Kobe went through it. Like, the greats go through that. But on the other side of that, it makes you better. I think it has everybody talking about the W, and I'm enjoying watching the W. I don't think I watched one college game in the men's side last year in the tournament. I watched the whole women's side because I'm coaching kids, and the style they play is more conducive to what I'm trying to teach for these young kids going forward.
Now I'm gonna get you in trouble. I'm gonna throw a little bit of something at you, and then you're gonna have to answer it because everybody's got to answer it one way or another. Sometimes you might, they might frown at you when you see them. They might look at you and go, "What the hell are you talking about?" So you said Jay-Z effect on hip hop means more than any album sells, even though Eminem is dominant in terms of the numbers and when, and sells and all that streaming and selling and whatnot. And now when you had a basketball conversation of the GOAT, right? You gotta talk about it. Is it Michael Jeffrey Jordan or LeBron King James, the GOAT of the NBA? You gotta answer it.
No, I'm gonna answer it. To me, I'm going to be very honest with you, Key. I think there's Michael, and then I think there's everybody else. And that's no disrespect to nobody. Like Kobe, LeBron, Magic, Kareem, Bill Russell, Duncan, Shaq, Steph, KD, there's been some unbelievable talents who have helped push the game forward. But when you think about Michael Jordan, if I just looked at Michael Jordan highlights and I knew no numbers, if I just watched his highlights and just watched him play, I would say, oh, this dude's the best. And then you tell me, oh, he won 6 championships in 8 years. He won 3, then he left and went and played another major sport, came back and won another 3. He never went to a Game 7. He's never lost a championship. No, not just in the pros, high school, college, FIBA, USA. He's never lost a championship. And then he's never went to a Game 7? Like, what? Hold on. Michael Jordan is so good that he helped give us some of the other great players that ever played in LeBrons and Kobe's and the ones that came after him. So for me, it's Jordan and it's everybody else.
But he's never lost a championship in any type of basketball.
But Kareem the same way though.
Crazy.
But Kareem won on every level too. He won in high school. He won in college. Yeah. He won in the NBA. Like, he won championships. So did Magic.
No, but he said he never lost.
That's
like, he
there
only
you go, you listening to me. He never lost one. That's the thing.
Yeah, but see, Jamal. And I'm a Jordan guy too, obviously, and I like everybody. I'm good across the board. What about when he wasn't getting there? That's we always talk about the 6, but we never talk about when he wasn't getting there. And the first thing we say is he hung 63 on Larry Bird. He still lost.
But Key, let me say to that though. you're right. You're right. But he didn't run from the grind. He didn't run from the challenge. And then once he figured out how to win, he never lost. We can make the argument Michael Jordan's the most clutch player ever as well, right? We can say that?
I mean,
there's an argument for it, right?
Yeah, I would probably say, but I seen Bird, I seen Magic clutch. I mean, it's hard it's a good barbershop conversation.
Okay, so let's say he is the most clutch or up there. We never seen the best of him because he never saw Game 7. Yeah. He could have been even better than Game 7 than he was the other.
Yeah, but you know how that is, though.
Okay, do you feel me?
Yeah, you might have switched my thinking. You might have switched my thinking a little bit on who's the greatest of all time. Like the fact that he hasn't lost in any championship that he's been in is crazy to me.
But I got him. But the thing about Michael Jordan, Keyshawn, is he got you beat before he even get on the court. He already got y'all beat mentally. Y'all already, whoever it is has got him. They already beat. It's over. They are, because they looking at him, walk up and down, chew his gum. They looking at him.
the aura. Yeah.
They watching it. But trust me, I know.
They watching him and Mike blow around him. You already know.
I ain't Michael Jordan, but I felt the same way as a football player. I already got y'all beat. Y'all staring at me in warm-ups. Y'all just watching me. So I already got you. I already got you beat. You know, LeBron ain't gonna never win the conversation, in my opinion. He's just never gonna win the conversation. It's just it's hard.
LeBron's so great. He overachieved all the expectations.
Yeah.
Literally 7 years in his career. Like LeBron is one of the greatest we will ever see. We'll never see another LeBron. Yeah. This dude like Magic, athletic like Jordan. Like Jordan, in my opinion, is the best, and I grew up on him. But that doesn't mean I diminish anybody else, because Magic's my second favorite player. Just my personal second favorite is Magic. I love Magic. Yeah.
And the thing is with LeBron is because he will have played so long, he's gonna have more failures than those other guys because they didn't play as long. So when he doesn't get to a championship or he loses in the playoffs, I mean, the dude gonna lose it. He in his 29th year, and he's gonna lose.
Right.
So the first thing people gonna say is, "Oh, he couldn't even win. He couldn't beat Denver." But the dude, 39 years old, man. What the hell else you want? So,
39 years old, and I'm gonna be honest. To me, he's still the best player on the team.
Yeah, by far. Yeah.
Like that. Like, what are we talking about? LeBron's a one-on-one as well.
Yeah. Well, man, hey, Jamal, thanks a lot for joining the pod. We really appreciate you. We know you got more things to do than sit around here and listen to us.
I'm gonna be honest, like hearing stories about you from Dorsey, seeing your journey, seeing your confidence, seeing always the fresh fade, just seeing you always
every now and then.
And now you got Lil Key into the space doing his thing. Like it's dope to see, and that's the stuff we need to see more of. I appreciate.
Man, you know what's so? Why do basketball players, all my friends, like whether it's you, whether it's Barkley, or whether it's Matt Barnes, or whether it's D-Jack, or whether it's Stevie Jack, they all talk about my fades. They all, first thing they say is, "Yo, fades must have been on point."
Bro, because you was playing with helmets on. You know, we always got to be right. You want to get a haircut. We'll lose sleep on game day to get a tight cut. We already know. We looking at it first.
Yeah, my barber Tamik is really, he used to put it together for sure. He puts it together every now and then. I got a fro hawk now. I'm gonna cut him back down probably during football season, get him back down. But again, man, thanks a lot for joining me and Keyshawn.
Thank you so much.
Of course, Ken. I appreciate you, bro. I'm going to get your info after this, too.
Okay. All right. The show's over. That's a wrap for today. Thanks a lot to Jamal Crawford. Peace.